last week, obviously, the opening of schools, I had a chance to visit, not all schools, but about 14 of them. So I still need to get to 5 more between tomorrow and the end of this week. It was a very, very smooth, somewhat quiet opening as I went from school to school, but it was absolutely wonderful to see so many parents bringing their young people, taking pictures, families there on opening day, and then to actually get in and visit schools that, quite frankly, I had not visited before. So I had a chance to visit classrooms, talk with a number of staff members, and to talk with kindergarten children and other folks who gave me some good advice. On the staffing side, this was somewhat of a different year than it was last year. Last year, at the opening, there were about 5 new teachers. There were 52 new staff members, 36 at the secondary level and 16 at the elementary level, and then 6 new other staff members, 2 administrative and 4 at the district-wide and itinerant level. So, having said that, I'm feeling it was a good opening this year, and obviously it's just the beginning with so much more to come, and we're excited about going forward with some of our plans that we've begun to lay out, and we'll actually be reconnecting with you on many of those plans. I won't get into details on the Narrowmake School Improvement Project, but I will tell you, because I know you've had a presentation before, there was one in the spring, but that has been approved, I believe, by the special zoning permit. Bids are going out this week, and construction will begin. I will, however, share with you a communication that I received from Alan Lowe. Because of some of the difficulty with the time required by the state, the completion of the project may actually be delayed into the fall of 2014 as opposed to by September of 2014. We're going to take 10 minutes or so. I would like Diane Filardo to share some information. And this is, and the reason why I wanted to share this with you is to highlight a few things. You know, one, I think you will see that Norwalk, in terms of our ability to close the gap, has exceeded some of the state averages in terms of performance of subgroups. On the other hand, you will also see where there are areas of particular need that I want to point out. Because as I talk about us becoming a district of excellence, that means excellence for all children. All children, regardless of race, ethnic background, economic circumstance. And that means that as we raise the bar for every single one of our students, we mean that we have to make certain that every single one of our students meets the kinds of expectations. So we picked out some specific slides. There are tons of different graphs and charts. We did not want to overload that with you tonight, but we'll certainly make those available to you. I simply, as we looked through it, I asked Ms. Filardo to pull out grade 4 reading and math, grade 7 reading and math, not only talk about our comparisons at the state level, but also how did the 3 major subgroups perform in terms of our gap here in Norwalk, because it begins to set the bar. Now, having said all this, Connecticut Mastery Test this will be the last year if we even go down that route, and I hope we don't have to. But the point of the matter here is that there is a gap that does exist. There have been improvements, and it's still a bar for us to pay attention to, for us to shoot for in terms of our expectations for the performance of all kids across the district.
Good evening. First, I want to start by talking about how CMT and CAPT results are reported. We have 5 performance levels. Level 1 and Level 2 is called the non-proficient range. Those are the children that are below basic and basic. The proficiency range is levels 3, 4, and 5, which is proficient, goal, and advanced. And the focus of tonight is the goal range. And those are the children that are at level 4 and 5, which is goal and advanced. So the results of those two levels have been combined. So when we talk about at or above goal or the goal range, we're talking about those two top levels. This is a summary of a comparison. What was released August 13th. You can see mathematics, reading, and writing. We're looking at Norwalk versus the state. What first table is grades 3 through 5. And the line that shows the change between 2006, which is our baseline year on the CMT, and our current 2013 results show that Norwalk, within mathematics, you see double-digit increases over that generation. So that's the increase in the number of percentage points of students at or above goal in comparison to the state. So you see much larger growth in almost all cases in Norwalk versus the state. So therefore, when we talk about the gap or that difference between the state result and Norwalk results, over that 7-year period, that gap is closing. The same chart, we're looking now at grades 6 through 8, math, reading, writing. Again, we're looking at that change. We look down, for example, grade 7, under reading. You see in 2006, 57% of our students were at or above goal. Statewide, that was 67%, a difference of 10 percentage points. Here we are in 2013. We are now ahead of the state in reading. 82% of our 7th graders are at goal or advanced versus 79% for the state. It's important to take a look at who we tested, a profile of our students. 21% of our students that were tested, about 1,000 of them, were African American students. We had a total across grades 3 through 8 of 4,800 students. 5% Hispanic, 5% Asian American, 38% Hispanic, 35% white. Under special populations, you see that free and reduced lunch made up almost half. Students eligible for free and reduced lunch made up almost half of our test takers. About 2,400 test takers were eligible. Now, if you think back to the beginning of the generation, there's been a shift. In 2006, 35% of our test takers were eligible for free and reduced lunch. 26% were African American. 29% were Hispanic. So the biggest shift was with free and reduced lunch, which increased 14 points over that 7-year period.